and today's session titled, Why Go to a Top Accounting Program for Your Master's? I'm Deanna Laird, and I'm the National Director of University Services at Accountingfly, and we're very excited to have you here. We're kicking off our Meet the Firms week this week. This is our first session, so we're overly excited. And here at Accountingfly, we're all about supporting you and furthering, helping you further your careers in accounting. And by registering for this event, hopefully you noticed our job board and the opportunities that you can find out about different opportunities nationwide. We work with over 600 firms to communicate their openings, including internship and entry-level positions. So, you know, we're excited about offering you those opportunities. But obviously, we're very focused as well on helping you further your career readiness. And we put together webinars like this one just for that purpose. So we're excited to have you here. We're glad that you're joining us. We hope you're aware of the other webinars that are available this week. And in fact, I'll send out a link to our webinar site just to make sure that you're aware. You can always contact me at deanna@accountingfly.com. But now for this session, and why should you choose a top accounting program for your master's? We assume that since you're here with us, you're probably looking at pursuing additional accounting education, and that's great. And it's such an important decision in choosing where you'll attain your master's. We have a team from Wake Forest University here with us today to share with you things that you should think about while you're making this decision, and so that you'll know what benefits you can realize by choosing a top accounting program. We'll also have a Q&A session at the end, so think about the questions that you'd like for them to answer and type them in to the chat window, and at the end we'll make sure that we get those questions answered for you. So now I'd like to introduce our team from Wake Forest who's with us today. Stacy Owen is the Executive Director of the MSA program at Wake Forest. And also Kate Wall has joined us, and she's the Associate Director of the MSA Enrollment Management and Market Readiness and Employment. And we also have a special treat with two students joining us today, two Wake Forest students, to share their experiences so you can hear directly from them some of their decisions and what they feel and their thoughts about a top accounting program. And that's Morgan Lester and Ethan Cohen. So again, welcome to all. We're glad you're here, and we hope you truly enjoy this session. And now, Stacy, I'll hand it over to you.
Okay, great. Thanks so much. So this is Stacy Owen, and I'm going to lead the first part of our webinar before turning it over to Kate Wall, and we'll make sure that you know when we transition. But we thought we'd start by telling you a little bit about Wake Forest. Wake Forest is a premier national university with the personal attention of a liberal arts college and the resources of a large research institution. Despite Wake Forest only having about 7,500 students, most people are surprised because of all that is available to our students. It seems so much larger. We're located in Winston-Salem, North Carolina, which is 5 hours driving from D.C. and 5 hours driving from Atlanta, Georgia. The great thing about our location is that you have the mountains to the west, you have the beach to the east, and it's easy to take advantage of both of these things. Wake Forest is a top university. We are nationally ranked number 27 by U.S. News and World Report. With regard to our Master of Science in Accountancy program, we spend our time thinking about what we think the same things that prospective students are looking for in a master's program. Like you want to be with outstanding students in the classroom, and we want to know how do we attract outstanding students. You want a rigorous educational experience, we want to make sure you have one. You also want a rich student experience and a job at graduation, and both of those things are extremely important to us as well. Hopefully, after our time together, you will have the answers to these questions. Now, great facilities don't hurt either, and we had to throw in a plug for Farrell Hall, which is our $55 million business school that opened a year ago. You can go to our website for more pictures, but this is a view of our living room. The entire building is built around this space, and it has really been a fantastic environment for our students to really spend all of their time in. Let's talk about top qualities, or some qualities of top master's programs. a top program is going to give you the technical knowledge you will need in your career, and certainly that's something that you should expect. It will also provide you with resources to secure employment. After all, going to pursue a graduate education, one of the reasons should be to help you with a job when you finish, and also helping you pass the CPA exam on your first attempt. Wake Forest program was started in 1997, and since then our enrollment has tripled. We have, right now we have 149 students who joined us in August. We anticipate 180 next fall. We are a premier school for Big Four firms. They know that at Wake Forest they can get smart students with a great work ethic. They're familiar with the rigor of our curriculum. And, you know, we are very confident that when we grow our program to 180, that we will continue to have the same demand on our students. We have the #1 CPA pass rate in the nation and have had it 11 of the last 14 years for schools that have a graduate accounting program. And 100% of our 2014 graduates had jobs at graduation. And that statistic is not a new one. I mean, year after year, if it's not 100%, it's very close to 100% of our students having jobs at graduation. And now I'm going to turn it over to Kate.
Great, thank you, Stacey. So I'm sure, you know, after Stacey telling you a little bit of background about the MSA program and our 100% placement, you're saying, well, why did these students all have jobs? How is this possible? So I want to start today by telling you about some of the resources that we offer here in market readiness and employment for our students to help with that process, to help facilitate our students being able to secure not only internships, but also full-time employment. So as I mentioned, I am the MSA Career Coach. So I am a dedicated resource for this program, and I do a variety of things which include resume design and critiques, so helping you get your resume interview ready or firm ready, and we start working on that from day one. The minute that you decide to come to Wake Forest and you pay your deposit, we begin that process, so well before you are actually even a student here on Wake Forest campus. We also offer guidance on, you know, location or track or firm. You know, where do you want to do your internship? We have students interning all across the country in various tracks, in audit or tax. We also have a financial transaction services track, which is unique to Wake Forest, and our students that we have here today, both Morgan and Ethan, have actually both decided to pursue that track. So they're going to be able to tell you a little bit more about their experiences here at Wake Forest with that. We also offer panels, you know, over the summer. We bring in firm reps from all different organizations that can tell you a little bit about a day in their life, so that you have more exposure as to what you might be interested in. We do workshops. We bring in speakers. So we're really trying to provide you with as much knowledge before you're needing to make a big decision like a career and what you might want to do for public accounting. We also try our best to get you prepared for your interviews that all happen on campus. It's a very rigorous process, but we try to start with mock interviews so that you can, you know, dress the part and experience what it would be like to actually sit down and go through interviews with firms here on campus. We also incorporate our Meet the Firms event, which is held in April. It is actually going to be April 10th, 2015 this year. And then we also have another event in July if you did miss the April event, but that is basically a networking opportunity for our students to get in front of the firms, again, before you're even a student here in the program, to have exposure, you know, so maybe if you're thinking about, you know, maybe one of the Big Four, you get to interact with those individuals and see if it's, you know, the right fit for you. Or maybe you're thinking maybe smaller, more regional. Or maybe you're not even sure about public accounting altogether, but it's just a great opportunity for you to actually connect and form those relationships. A lot of students end up being invited to leadership conferences over the summer as well. So it's really a way to kind of jumpstart your career and your thinking on your career. And as I mentioned, all of this is in preparation for fall on-campus recruiting, which happens in September. In fact, our students, the ones that arrived here for orientation in August, they are just wrapping up that process, if you can believe it or not. Here we are at the beginning of October, and they received their offers last week, and we've been working with them, kind of from this point on to make their office visits and finalize their decisions so that they will know where they are going for their internship, which is held during the busy season. I'm actually about to step into the next slide, which will tell you a little bit more about our 2 programs here at Wake Forest and what we offer depending on what your background looks like. So we have our 3-semester program and our 2-semester program here at Wake Forest. Regardless of which program you choose, you're going to be taking about 30 hours of coursework. However, the 2-semester program is really designed for those students who have secured full-time employment before beginning their time here at Wake Forest. Morgan Lester, who actually will speak to you in just a bit, she is a prime example of that. She has come into the Wake Forest program already with a full-time job offer in hand. The 3-semester program is designed for students who are actually seeking full-time employment, and they are coming here, for all of the resources that we offer, for the on-campus recruitment options, as well as the ability to secure an internship, which happens during the busy season. So that happens during January to mid-March. And Ethan Cohen has done just that, and he is going to tell you a little bit more about, the resources here and what drew him to the program. And regardless of whether you do the 2-semester or the 3-semester option, each student group is going to do the CPA prep here on campus with Becker during the summer months. So regardless of which program you choose, that is built into the curriculum. So I think that kind of gives you a nice overview on our MSA program, and I want to turn it over to Morgan Lester, and Morgan will go ahead and tell you a little bit about herself. And Morgan.
Hi. So my name is Morgan Lester, as I guess I already covered. I went to the University of Georgia in undergrad, and I majored in accounting. So I guess first I'll tell you why I applied to Wake Forest. For me, I really wanted to get outside of my comfort zone. I was born and raised in Georgia, then I went to a school in Georgia, and I'm going to start in Georgia. So I figured this would be a great opportunity to meet people that aren't from Georgia, get experiences completely different than what I've experienced so far. The second reason, I really wanted to get an excellent education, an education that will prepare me for the CPA and any of my career endeavors in the future, and I figured I could do that here. One of my favorite professors at my undergrad also went here for his undergrad as well as grad education, so he kind of planted the seed early. So I visited several times, so the reason I guess it went from application to enrollment, I visited quite a few times, and I could actually envision myself here. I met lots of people here. I love them, every single one of them. I met several professors. They seemed to take an interest in me, even though I was only visiting for a day. And I actually felt like people here cared. I sat in on a class. I liked the teaching style. I liked what I saw, and I could see myself in the student seat rather than a visitor. And a couple other factors. I knew it wasn't too far from home, and it's a moderate climate, so I knew I wasn't going to New York where it would be freezing cold and I couldn't deal. And Atlanta and North Carolina are fairly similar in that sense. I also knew that the FTS track wasn't offered in my undergrad, and I loved my one finance class that I'd had, and I thought that this would be a great experience to see something different that I couldn't get elsewhere. I also loved the recruitment team, and one of the recruiters here, Mary Knapp, who really helped to facilitate my transition here, constantly answering all of my questions, answering my phone calls and my emails, so that was awesome. And then since I've been here, even though it's been less than 2 months, which is really hard to believe, I've met people from numerous backgrounds, from California, Indiana, some of my closest friends so far, and I really could see these friendships going for a lifetime even. I've enjoyed it so much, and I think that it affirmed the decision that I made to come here. And I definitely think that if you do apply, I think you should apply early. Give yourself time to make the decision. It is a year-long program or 18 months, depending on which course you choose. So I think that it's a heavy decision, and you should put a lot of thought into it. I definitely think you should also reach out to recruiters, students. People make themselves very available here, and I think that that's important in that decision. So get all the answers you need and want to make that decision. And if you do decide to come here, I definitely say stay ahead of classes, read ahead, definitely keep yourself at the top. So that's pretty much all I have to give.
Thank you, Morgan, so much. And I will now turn it over to Ethan Cohen, who pursued our 3-semester program, and Ethan will be able to tell you a little bit more about himself and his experience. Ethan?
Hi, my name is Ethan Cohen. I came originally from the State University of New York at New Paltz, where I was an accounting and finance major. The main things that drew me to Wake Forest were the jobs, the outstanding reputation, and the CPA preparation, as well as the outstanding educational experience I knew I would receive here. But what actually drew me to enroll once I was accepted was the treatment I received throughout my entire application process. Wake really made it feel like they wanted me to come here, so I knew that once I got here, I would feel really welcome once I was actually in the program too, not just applying throughout. Also, when I got to campus for all my interviews, it felt like I just belonged here and just kind of felt like home right from the bat. Some other decision factors too, as a 3-semester student, were all the fantastic resources Wake has in preparing you for the employment. Not having a job and going into a program was a pretty scary thought, but once I saw the huge variety of resources that Wake had, it really, really calmed me down. And I know myself and all the other students coming into the program had hundreds of questions, and the Employment Readiness Center was really, really fantastic at putting all of our worries to ease and getting top quality responses back to us. What I've liked most at Wake Forest is the classroom environment, number one. I go to a class with some really, really, really bright people and some really fantastic professors as well. They bring in a lot of outside work experience, which I think is really fantastic, and they get a real-world hands-on experience, not just strictly an academic exercise. Also within the community, what's been really fantastic is, or within the school, is a sense of community, and that's been really, really fantastic. So you're never on your own. There's a lot of group studying and collaboration goes on, and I really like that aspect of the program. Some of my advice to people, whether they pursue programs in accounting or wherever else, is to don't be afraid of things just because it's hard work. As Thomas Edison said, opportunity is missed by most because it's dressed in overalls and looks like hard work. But by putting yourself out there and going after those hard work experiences, you really seek the most reward.
Great. Thank you so much, Ethan. Appreciate it. And our students will be here throughout the duration of the rest of the webinar. So if you have any questions that you want to direct towards them, you absolutely can at the conclusion. So just wanted to make everyone aware. Thank you. So just to touch a little bit more on what both Ethan and Morgan said, to give you an idea as far as the top employers that recruit our students. Again, this is just a snapshot. I just wanted to encompass a list. As you can see, if you are thinking, Big Four, we are a premier school for the Big Four here at Wake Forest. We also are largely recruited by some of the more small regional firms, as well as even non-public accounting jobs. Other institutions come here to recruit. The top 5 city locations, and this is generated by student interest, are listed here: Charlotte, New York, Atlanta, Boston, and DC Metro. Again, this is just a snapshot. We have students in San Francisco, in Seattle, in Dallas, Texas, really all across the map, in Miami. So, no city is probably not an option, but that is something that we could definitely talk about. And again, I know we've mentioned before our emphasis on employment, but this really is something that, all top programs, we believe, should take employment as seriously as we do. We had 100% placement for the May 2014 class, and we really have a zero tolerance for less than that. So I encourage you, when you are looking for graduate programs and graduate accounting programs in general, that you make sure that they take employment as seriously as we do here at Wake Forest. And, we've really told you a lot about a dedicated career coach, but we also want to mention that we have a staff, to help with our commitment to student success. And we have dedicated recruiters to find the best talent. We have over 30 key schools that we go and recruit students. And we also have a dedicated integrated student services staff member to enhance the academic experience for all of our students, kind of as Morgan mentioned, to help with onboarding, to help with any question you might have as it pertains to the program, or where to live, or, where can I go find the best Chinese food. We're here kind of a one-stop shop to help you have all the resources that you need here at Wake Forest, and hopefully we would be your home away from home. And now I'm going to turn it back over to Stacey Owen as she talks a little bit more about what we believe top programs are looking for.
Thank you, Kate. Some of the things that we are looking for in prospective students, it's the same thing that all top programs are looking for. We're all looking for students with strong communication skills. This is something that benefits you not just in the interview process when we're putting you in front of recruiters, but also in the classroom, because our classroom environment is participative. We want you to speak up. You're going to be on teams in some classes, and communication skills go a long way. Focus and maturity, this is not college. This is graduate school. It's tough. It's rigorous. We want students to come in who are ready to work, who know what it's going to take to get through the program. Academic prowess, if you don't have this, then it's going to be hard for you to do the work. And, schools don't want to bring in students who are not able to get through their program. And so we look at things like, GPA, GMAT score, to see if you have the potential to do the work on a graduate level. Ability to contribute and team-oriented, both of those things, I've referenced strong communication skills with regards to, being on a team and in a classroom, and the same is true for being able and willing to contribute and being able and willing to work in a team environment. Because not only will you do this at Wake Forest and in many other classrooms, but you will do this long after you graduate on the job. I mentioned early on that our enrollment had tripled over the beginning, or when we first started our program back in 1997. And this is a snapshot of what our new class looks like. We have 149 students. Last year we had 153. Next year we anticipate 180. The average GPA of 3.5 has been consistent over the years. 3.4, 3.5 has been, that's kind of the standard for us. Average GMAT, 632. I think last year it was 635. I'm sure we'd love for that to be higher, but that's where we are right now. 56 different colleges and universities represented. So, that's a lot of schools for 149 students. Kate referenced that we recruit at 30. We'd love students from more than 56 schools. It's just a matter of how many we can actually get to in a year. Half of our students are women, 14% are from underrepresented groups, and 13% are international. Both Ethan and Morgan referenced when they came for a visit, and we agree that coming for a visit is extremely important because it gives you the opportunity to spend some time on campus to see if it's the right fit for you, to see if you think you can see yourself here. Now, when you look at this picture, when I first saw this, I thought it was snow, and it's not. We do not get a lot of snow in Winston-Salem, but it's actually toilet paper. Wake Forest is a member of the ACC, so sports are a huge thing here, and I'm not sure what game we won on this occasion, but our students go crazy when we have big wins, especially over schools like Duke and Chapel Hill. So that's toilet paper. But we have two different series of events. We have preview days, which are like open houses. We actually had one last Friday. Our next one is November 14th, where you have an opportunity to talk with students and faculty members and staff and really get a firsthand glimpse into our program. And we also have done-in-a-day events. And we've offered done-in-a-day events for probably, 12 years. They've been written up in Business Week as a really neat way to pursue the admissions process. Done in a day, you're done in a day. You send all your application materials to us the week before the event. You don't write the essay because you discuss the essay. And while you're on campus, you are in 2 sets of interviews. You get a decision from us by 8 o'clock that night. So, there's a minimum GMAT score of 600 and a minimum GPA of 3.0 in order to participate. You can learn more on our website, but if you're thinking of coming for a visit, I would recommend one of those two events. And that's for any program that you're applying to, any school, go for a visit. You just don't know what it's going to be like until you go and spend some time on that campus. There's certainly an opportunity for questions right now, but if you think of a question tomorrow or next week and you'd like to reach out to us, please feel free to do so. Our names and emails are listed. Our website is also a great source of information, so we encourage you to visit there and learn more as well. But we'll have to take questions right now if you have any. Thank you.
Yes, sir. I do. This is Deanna, and I have received a question I'd like to pass along. So we have received a question that's asking of Morgan and Ethan. So where do you plan to sit for the CPA statewide? And the comment was made, I know many of the requirements for CPA state licensure vary significantly. So just curious on what your plans are on sitting for the CPA.
I've sat for CPA in North Carolina. There was a lot of confusion about it, originally coming from New York, but Wake had fantastic resources that were there to help us. So everyone from the faculty to answer questions, and they also did a fantastic job in putting us in touch with students that had gone through the application process to get their experience as well, because there was no need to reinvent the wheel.
So you already sat for it in North Carolina because you are working in North Carolina after Wake Forest.
Exactly.
Okay, great.
And I haven't started the CPA yet. I got a month left, I guess, or a couple weeks to till we start getting deep into that. But you can actually, I think for Alina, we can sit in North Carolina just to take the exam. But luckily, the requirements are fairly similar. So you can sit as soon as you start your master's for Georgia. So and so it's 150 credit hours, and yeah, it definitely varies from state to state. So before, every student has to do their due diligence to figure out what the requirements are for their state, if they have to sit in their state, if they have to complete the master's first before sitting. So I definitely think that's something to take into consideration.
Definitely, and I'll just add to Morgan's point, just over the years and having students come through, so it sounds like Ethan sat for in North Carolina because he will be working there, but we have had situations where students will sit for the exam not in the state where they are going to be working, and that's okay. Generally, it is a fairly easy process as far as receiving reciprocity. A lot of students, I think, think, oh my goodness, it might be similar to the bar. If you were, studying to be a lawyer and, it's absolutely mandated that you have to pass in the state where you will be practicing, and it's not so black and white for the accounting world. So definitely, as Morgan referenced, do your research, and you can definitely find a lot of information if you go to your state board, and if you just actually Google, you should find a lot of resources there as to when to file and when you need your materials in and what's required. But reciprocity is definitely something that students usually have a lot of success with if you need that.
Great. Okay, there's another question that's asking, again, about Morgan and Ethan, but the question is, how many of your students pursue the financial transaction services since both of the presenters were from FTS?
Yeah, that's a great question. And that it's quite ironic that Morgan and Ethan both, ended up doing FTS, because I would probably say that between the three tracks, that's audit, tax, and then FTS, probably 85% of our students, or between 80 and 85, generally pursue audit. That seems to be the most common, and again, I don't necessarily know that this is for Wake Forest. I think graduate accounting programs in general, audit tends to be, there are a lot of opportunities in audit. It's a lot of entry-level roles that can then be kind of the gateway to different opportunities within firms. A lot of times if you are interested in kind of an advisory type role or an FTS type role, generally after serving and working for, several years in an audit role, it's generally pretty easy to make a transition. As far as at Wake Forest, it's 80 to 85% probably pursuing audit, and then the remaining percentage is probably split between tax and FTS.
Great. Okay. Do you anticipate 150 students next year?
No, actually, we anticipate 180 students next year. Our program is going to continue to grow. Beyond the 180, I don't anticipate us growing beyond 180. What I did not mention is that even though we have 149 students who joined us in August, we still have another 89 students who are in their third semester who will graduate in December. So, next year it will be the same thing where we will have 180 new students, and then we will have a certain number of students who are doing the 3-semester program who will be here in that fall semester as well.
Great. Okay. Then we have a question associated with the PhD, and the student said, referenced that, knows that this is a ways off for students that are interested, but curious about how many MSA students are or have pursued PhD in accountancy.
Yeah, that's a great question, and to be completely honest, it's a small number. Most of our students are coming here to receive the hours that they need to sit for the CPA exam, and then go on and work in public accounting. Each year, I've been at Wake Forest for 3 years, and we've probably had one student a year in my time here that has said, you know what, I'm actually not going to be seeking an internship or full-time, and I'm going on to another graduate program or a PhD program. However, many of our faculty have PhDs or worked in public accounting and then decided to go back, get their PhD, and pursue teaching. So if it is something that you're interested in, we absolutely would be more than happy to have a discussion about that. Could often even try to connect you with a student who has gone that route. But for Wake Forest and the emphasis that we have on employment, it just generally is not the main focus of students that are coming into the program.
And worth noting is that we don't offer a PhD either. So anybody who came to our program would have to leave and go somewhere else.
Okay. Do you offer scholarships, and if so, is there a deadline?
Yes, we do. We do have a merit-based scholarship program. We make decisions in conjunction with admission decisions, so we are doing this on a rolling basis. Our scholarship deadline is March 15th, and that doesn't mean that we would not award funds after that date, but that is a recommendation for sort of a best chance. When we are making these decisions, we are looking at multiple components in the application.
Great, okay. And then the question, is an interview required? And I assume that's probably meaning an admissions interview.
Yes. So in order for anyone to be admitted to our program, an interview is required. Interviews are generally by invitation only. However, you can self-select if you meet certain criteria, and that criteria is the same criteria that we have for our done-in-the-day opportunity, which is you must have a minimum GPA of a 3.0 and a minimum of a 600 GMAT. If you do not meet those minimums, then you would need to be invited by the Wake Forest Enrollment Management staff, and you would receive an invitation via email.
Okay. Do you accept the GRE?
Unfortunately, we do not accept the GRE, only the GMAT.
Okay. And then here's another question. You may have just provided this information, but let me rate it anyway, and you provide any more details you'd like to. How do I sign up for an interview or for done in a day?
Sure. All of these options are on our website. So if you visit the Wake Forest, it's business.wfu.edu/MSA, and there is an option to schedule a campus visit. And scheduling a campus visit and scheduling an interview is the same. It's the same link. Done in a day is listed under our on-campus events. So you would visit the on-campus event section and pick the done in a day that you were interested in and register for that event. Although we will tell you, don't make any travel arrangements until your participation has been confirmed.
Gotcha. Okay. And then another question is, do you give preference to students who are coming in with a job?
That's a great question, and no. You know, it's fantastic if you are, you know, coming in already with full-time offer in hand. But as you can see, we really pride ourselves in the fact that we have a diverse student body, not only with ethnicity, but undergraduate institution and, you know, coming from different backgrounds, accounting majors and non-accounting majors. And we think that it's fantastic that we have students that will bring such a diverse perspective. But really the reason that we have such a robust market readiness and employment resources is because, you know, we want to help students secure that internship and secure full-time employment. So definitely no preferential treatment, or our applications are viewed the same way regardless of whether you're looking to pursue the internship or a PhD program, or, you know, whether you're coming in with a full-time offer in hand.
Okay, that's terrific. So currently that's all the questions I have right now, but just to those attending and students, you know, you have a few, you know, minutes here to send off any other questions that you may have, so go ahead and send them if you have them. And then, oh, and I did just get another question, so let me go ahead and read that. Is the Becker CPA Summer Program covering all 4 sections of the CPA over the entire summer?
Yeah, so Becker does a fantastic job of preparing us. We use the Becker Fast Pass. It's a very ambitious program, but the Wake has done a fantastic job of preparing us through the rigorous academic curriculum to be ready for Becker. And we move through each section in about 2 weeks' time. So we definitely cover all 4 parts of the exam and then still have a little cushion to study some extra or rearrange to your own scheduling needs.
And then I'm just going to ask a follow-up of Ethan. And Ethan, when did you sit for each part? How does that generally work amongst the students?
So the last month of every quarter is a blackout month. So there's a little bit of a rush in May to sit for the first 2 parts of the exam. And then the first week of July, we sat for the next 2 parts too.
Great.
Okay, terrific. So I'll just ask Stacy, Kate, Morgan, or Ethan. Currently, if I'll let you know if any other questions come in, but right now, would you just like to leave any key remaining remarks that you think that students should keep in mind?
Well, this is Stacy, and I definitely think you should come for a visit. I think that that's important, not just at Wake Forest, but regardless of the schools that you are applying to, going for the campus visit can make such a difference.
Absolutely, because what you might read online or even hear through, you know, friends that you might have in programs across the country, only you know what is going to be best for you and where you're going to feel the most comfortable and have the most success. And so it really is through a campus visit, being able to attend a class, interact with current students, meet some of the staff, that you really can kind of get a good idea as to, you know, if the institution would be the right place for you. So I would definitely echo Stacy's words that, you know, it is key, I think, in the decision-making process.
I think we're all shaking our heads that we agree.
Terrific. And I did get another question. What is the average CPA score section-wise for the Wake Forest MSA students?
You know, what I would say is that the only magic number is 75. And someone who gets a 75 or a 99 on the CPA, you still get called the CPA.
Very good point. Very good point.
Okay, terrific. All right. Well, we do not have any other questions at this time, so I'll just take the chance to say thank you so much. This has been very informative and I trust extremely valuable for the students. So really appreciate all the information, and thank you for your time. And students, thank you so much for attending. I hope this has been great and very helpful for you. But let us know if you have additional questions. You can continue to contact us, as mentioned, with your questions or just comments about related to this great program. So, team from Wake Forest, any you want to say anything else? Now's the time. Otherwise, we'll go ahead and close the webinar.
Yeah, no, just thank you so much, and we hope to see many of you on campus this fall.
All right, terrific. Thank you so much.
Bye-bye.
Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.